Hi you guys, happy Monday. I hope you guys had a good weekend. So anyways, I want to answer one of our subscribers' questions, and that is, how do you talk and negotiate with your cash buyer? So this is typically how I do it. So once you get the property tied up under contract, so what you're going to do is you either text it to all of your buyers or send them an email, okay? And what I usually tell the buyer is that, so if any one of them responds, based on all the numbers, the information that you have given them, and if they are like, yep, you know what, Khang, I like it, and I want to move forward, I typically tell them, hey, why don't you go ahead and do a drive-by, make sure you like the property, make sure you like what you see, and then if you're ready to do the walkthrough inspection, then let me know and I can set that up for you. And I let them know it's a one-time walkthrough / inspection, which means they can bring their contractor, their GC, whoever they need to bring with them, but it's a one-time thing because we don't want to get them back into the property over and over again. We want it to be a one-time deal. All right, you guys? So that's what I want. That's what I tell them. And this is what I always tell what I tell the buyer. No matter, even if you have one buyer that's going at the property, but you always tell them that, we have a lot of interest in this property. We have a lot of buyers that's looking at it. So that way they know that it's not just them, but there's other buyers that is interested as well. You guys don't ever tell your buyers that they are the only one. You always tell them you have multiple buyers that is interested on the property, okay? So tell them that when they ask you, is there any, because typically they ask you, is anybody else that's interested in it? Or have anyone else put in an offer? When they ask you that kind of questions, has anybody else put in an offer? I always tell them, yeah, we got a couple buyers that are it's looking at it. They are running their numbers. They're talking to their partners. They're talking to their lender, their private money guy or their hard money guy, and they said that they'll get back, but they said that they're very interested in it. All right, you want to let them know that. You don't want to tell them, when they ask, if you have any offer yet, just tell them, yeah, right now we don't, but we got some party that is running their numbers, and that's running their number right now, and they said that they'll get back to us, okay? And we let them know it's a first come, first serve. So, whoever puts the earnest money in your hand first, whoever brings that earnest money non-refundable first, that's the person that's going to get the deal. You want to let them know that, so they know that they have other competitions, okay? Because some of them will be so anxious to buying it, they might even we have done deal with them before, with buyers before, where they didn't even need to see the property. They just did a drive-by. They don't want to go through they didn't want to go in the property, etc., because I guess the number works really well for them. And they were afraid that they lose the deal out to somebody else. So they said, hey, we're ready to go. We're ready to drop off the non-refundable, okay? So you want to let them know that they have competitions. Always let them know they have competition. Now, so let's just say if they do the walkthrough, okay, let's just say if they do the walkthrough and they come back and try to renegotiate with you on the price, and they would say, well, you know what, Khang, I went through the property and we found this and this. There's a lot of repairs that needed to be done, etc. We can't do, I'm just giving you guys an example. We can't do 100,000. Would you consider 95 or 90? Okay, so let's just say if they say, oh, well, Khang, would you consider 95? This is what I would respond. I tell them, okay, well, is that the best you can do? Okay, you ask them back, is that the absolute best you can do? And also too is, and then if they say, yep, that's the absolute best you can do, you ask them, so how quickly can you close? Yeah, I can, you want to ask them how quickly can they close. They're like, yep, you know what, I can close in 7 to 10 days. Okay, great. Well, you know what, let me get back to you. I got some other interested party that, you're the first one that I sent it to. You got to tell them that, you're the first one that I sent it to, or you're the first one that I let do the walkthrough inspection on the property. I got a lot more interest buyers that wanting to, that haven't walked through the property. So it's really hard for me to, drop the price without getting other buyers into the property and giving them a chance to make me the offer. So let me ask you, is that the absolute best you can do before I talk to before I talk to or schedule these buyers? So you want to give them fear of loss. You want to give them fear of loss, okay? So when they come back with you with the numbers, that's what you tell them. And a lot of time, if the buyer say, yep, you know what, that's the best I can do, Khang. Okay, great. You know what, let me chat with my partner. If they are, so let's just say if they are the only one buyer you got, you tell them, okay, well, let me chat with my partners, and I want to get his opinion or her opinion, approval on it, see if we can make that number work. But gosh, it's really, really tight. You got to let them know that. So you got to make sure that you, when you negotiate, don't make it seem so easily giving it to them. Even though 95 will work for you, you can make it work. Just don't say, you know what, okay, if, just don't say it, okay? Just say, let me get back. Ask them, is that the best you can do? Let me get back to you, okay? And then, so, it's always negotiable. So you can call them back like a minute later or 2 minutes later and say, hey, you know what? I got my, so when you come back to them, just say that, hey, so if we're on board at 95, you are ready to move forward and get this paperwork done, and you can close in 7 days. Is that correct? Or maybe you ask them that before you, so let's just say that they said, yep, 95, and you ask them already, that's the best that they can do, it's 95, and that's the only buyer you got. Okay, if that's the only buyer you got, then you said, so if I can get my partner committed to this 95, I'm not saying that I can, okay? You want to let them know that. Like I said, you got to play hard to get a little bit here. So even if it's that is the only buyer you got, okay? Because you want to let them know that it's not easy, that the number's really tight, so they don't come back and try to renegotiate with you on every single deal. But typically, if this is a buyer's, and typically if this is the buyer's, this is what he does for a living, etc. And most buyers is pretty cool. They don't come back and renegotiate. But in case if there is a buyer, and sometimes they do come back and renegotiate because of the repair costs, etc. Okay, but you want to play a little bit hard to get, a little bit, okay? Because you want to give them a little run for their money, okay? So basically, you want to confirm with them. Is that okay? So that is the absolute best you can do. Is that correct? They say yes. Okay, so how quickly can you close? Okay. If they say 7 to 10 days, perfect. So you're saying if I can get approval from my partner, and if we're ready to move forward at the 95,000, you are ready to move forward with us, get the paperwork done, and you can close this thing in 7 to 10 days. Is that correct? If that's your only buyer, you want to ask them that. You want to get a commitment from them. Okay, so you said, okay, all right, let me call you back in a few minutes, see if I can get my partner to hop on board with me. You got to give them a run for their money, okay? So that's it. So you call them back. If that works out, let them know, hey, you know what, we're ready. Maybe you want to come back and say, hey, 95 is just too small for us. We got to split the commissions, we got to split the fee, etc. Would you consider meeting us in the middle? 97. It's never hurt to ask, okay? Or maybe you want to start negotiating that on when he calls you back and saying, hey, I can't do 100, I want to do 95. But I typically want to make sure I get his solid commitment. Then I'll say, okay, let me call you back in a few minutes, and then call him back in a few minutes, right? You don't want to wait. Like, if that's your hot buyer, you want to strike when it's hot. So you don't want to wait, half an hour. Call him back within like a couple minutes. Chat with my partner. We can't do 95, but would you consider like 97 or 97.5? Could you consider meeting us in the middle? And maybe, drop them my numbers and see what they say. And if they say, yeah, man, Khang, nope, that's not going to work, I can only do 95. All right, John. So if we can move forward with 95, you're ready to move forward. Is that correct? He said, yep, that's correct. And then say, okay, let's do it. 95,000. I'll send you over the paperwork, and there you go. All right, but that's how we negotiate with our buyers. We want to play a little bit hard to get. We always want to tell our buyers that there's many other cash buyer that's interested in on the property, even if they're the only one. Even if they are the only one, you want to tell them that. You want to tell them this is the hot property. People want it. You got to let them know that, you guys, okay? So anyways, that's how we negotiate with our buyers. It's the exact same thing. You know, you always want to ask them the question. If they cut, okay, here's another one. If they ask you, so Khang, what's the best? So let's just say if you gave them a number, all right, you say, hey, purchase price is 100,000. And if they ask you, they say, Khang, so what's the best? So what's the best you can do for me on this? I said, well, Ron, why don't you do a drive-by, run your numbers, and just let me know, just let me know what you can offer on it. Right now, that's pretty much where we're at with our price. You know, you're the first one that I've sent it to, so go ahead and take a look and run your numbers. You know, the goal is to make it work for everyone. It works for you, works for us, work for the seller. We're in this for a long-term relationship. You know, we want to build business. We want to build relationship. So, I don't want to, I don't want to haggle and negotiate over just a few hundreds or a few $1,000s, all right? So why don't you run your numbers and let me know? So you let them know that you're in this for a long term. You want to create a business. You want to create relationship. So you basically tell them that, hey, you know what? Don't try to negotiate on every deal I sent you. Basically, that's what it is. But you're just saying it in a way where you said, hey, you know what? I don't want to haggle over a couple hundred, why don't you run your numbers and let me know what's the best you can do for it? But you know what? you're the first one that I send the property out to. So I'm giving you a first shot at it. It's all about relationship. So if the number worked for you and it works for us and it works for the seller, great. Then I'm more than happy to do a deal with you. So things like that, that's the kind of stuff that I tell my buyers, okay? But there you guys go. I hope that helps. I hope that answers your questions. And you guys have a great Monday. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys next time. As always, haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. If you like my video, give me a thumbs up, you guys. And I'll see you guys next time. Take care. Bye.